What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building for another episode of the Shop Podcast. We are back. Another amazing week, another panel, another awesome show. Once again, if you are new here, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Bunch of information in the description below. Please check that out now. As you guys can see, I posted earlier there was a bit of change here, a last minute change. So shout out to Sean Capri. He was actually supposed to be the guest on today's show. Last minute time issues, so we're gonna go ahead and get him on another week. But last minute clutch, two buddies came through. We're gonna go ahead and get to everybody here on the panel. But once again, thank you everybody hanging out with us. Spend a little bit of time this weekend. Retweet the link. Let everybody know we're live. Come hang out in the Shop Podcast chat. Let's get into it. So we're gonna start with you, Mav. Thank you for once again saving my butt at the last second for coming to hang out with us, man. How you been doing? How you feeling? What's going on with you, brother?
I'm doing good. Been feeling great playing games last couple of days. I won't rub it in Centurion's face too much. But yeah, it's been a blast. And yeah, anytime, man, just send me a message. I'll be happy to hop on here with you guys. It was a blast last time you had me. So looking forward to all the stuff that we're going to be talking about.
Absolutely, man. Once
Please,
again,
for the love of God, pretend like I am perfectly fine with what happened. So I want everybody to act natural. You know?
It's been okay. You know, I've been having some fun with it. No, man, it's been a blast. Holy crap. You know.
Too much. We're going to have some fun with it today, though, for sure. Once again, thank you for jumping in last minute, man. Appreciate you hanging out with us, man. Next up to bat, Game Pass Dad. Once again, last second, man. Appreciate you hanging out with us, man. How you been? How you feeling, brother?
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I'm doing great, dude. Just enjoying my Xbox Series X. I don't want to rub in the fact that I haven't had any issues with it yet, because you know what happens when you do that. But good to be back. Glad to be listening to you guys as well. So thank you for asking me to fill in also.
Not a problem, man. Once again, thank you for hanging out, man. It's always a good time. These two gentlemen have been on the podcast before. Please do me a favor. Go check them out, guys. Please, I will update the description later to add some of their information just to make sure you guys were able to see that. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Once again, chat is lit. Chat is live. Come hang out, retweet, share that link on Twitter. Let people know we are live right now. Shout out to Stag as well. As you guys can see, one of my three amigos is missing. I'm sure he'll be in the chat at some particular point kicking somebody's ass, talking shit. So we love you, Stag. Appreciate you. Hope you feel better, brother. Thank you, man. Always add so much to the show. So I got two of my guys here. We're going to go ahead and start with you, Centurion. How you been, brother? Well, never mind. I'll let you go ahead and get in there. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, my God.
I know. I'm just
all
saying,
right.
Go ahead.
So I guess let's have some fun on it. You know, we had a console launch, ladies and gentlemen, but the Book of X spoke and basically bricked my console because that we should show people how to act when you buy technology day one. That is the risk you take. I had it out of the box all of 5 hours, and yes, the console's bricked. It's already out of here, on its way back to Microsoft. It is done for. I am getting another one, yes, but this is where I kind of like, people wonder why I like run around saying, you know, power of positivity. Past Centurion, we'll just call him Mr. Past Centurion, would have crawled into his cave like Gollum and been mad at the world that his Series X broke. But decided to kind of turn that frown upside down, have some fun with it. I did a YouTube video, and it at this point is the most successful YouTube video I've ever done with almost 7,000 views. And so basically at this point, I really want to thank anybody who tuned into that video and reached out because, I mean, really, thank you. That was actually a lot of fun getting that many hits on a video.
Dude, awesome. Congrats, man. That is amazing. Go check that video out. I don't have it in the description. Go check his Twitter out. Yeah, go check his Twitter out. I'm sure the link is up there, man. Awesome video. Once again, having a lot of fun with this next generation starting. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You motherfuckers are awesome. I appreciate and love every single one of you guys. Please retweet that link. Let everybody know before we smooth this thing down. Shout out to Fuzzy, man. What's up with you, brother? How you been? What's been going on?
Not too bad. Been just busy trying to get, I guess, the right version of the games downloaded, but got the Series S, actually 2 Series S's for the boys, and got my Series X hooked up and everything. And sorry to hear about yours, Centurion, but yeah, for the most part, just, man, this is so much more fun than I was expecting in comparison to like when I first got my Xbox One X. But man, some great topics. Got a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get it.
Let's dive in. Once again, Fuzz, thank you for smoothing things out at the end as you do every single week, brother. Once again, hit the like button, retweet, let everybody know we're live. This is what we do every weekend. We do this every weekend. The best gaming podcast on the weekend, bar none. Come check us out, hang out. So let's go ahead and dive right into the topic. So as we start every single show, just about 99.9% of the shows, we start with poll of the week. Once again, if you don't know, every single Monday I put up a poll on Twitter. Follow me. All the information's down there below. We talk about the poll here on every Saturday on the Shop Podcast, man. So let's dive into the poll of the week. So poll of the week was, now that we are getting these new consoles, which game would you most like them to make a custom console for? So we always have 4 options generally. So we had Halo Infinite, Ratchet and Clank, Fable, and then God of War Ragnarok. So Halo Infinite won with 50% of the vote. Shout out to everybody that voted. Once again, check me out on Twitter. If you don't know, all of the information down in the description below. Second place, Fable. Third place, God of War Ragnarok. And last place, super far distant last place, Ratchet and Clank with 2% of the vote. So we're going to start with you, Mav, on this one. Out of those options, which one of those would you like a custom console the most? Or it doesn't even actually have to be one of those 4. Can be something completely different.
Halo Infinite.
Oh, God, that was easy. That was way too fucking easy. All right, brother. Halo Infinite. I figured a majority of us would probably have that same take, but you can explain if you like.
Well, so I could change it just for the sake of conversation's sake, but I'm not going to, because I want Halo Infinite custom console. I am going to get another Series X. Right now I have 2. So whenever that gets announced and comes out, which I think is going to be inevitable, that will be the next one that gets added to my collection. I want monks chanting, singing when I turn that thing on. I want the energy sword glow emitting from the inside of it towards the ceiling. You know, I want it to look like it's, you know, from a Halo ring you made out of it. You know, I think it's going to be like, there's so much more potential I think you can do with that than a lot of the other brands. We've seen some amazing Halo custom consoles before. So, you know, even though it's been done before plenty of times, there's still so much room for creativity. How about a banished Xbox Series X?
Ooh.
Maybe how about they have 2? You know, they have like a banished one, and then they have a Chief one. Master Chief one, UNSC. You know, go with Spartan theme or whatever. That would be awesome. Now, the other one on here would have been Fable. I don't know if y'all saw before that Xbox Pope had posted like a Fable one, and man, that one looked incredible too. So that would be my next choice, just because I think it would be fun. You know, you could do some really different things with that one. But yeah, definitely Halo, and there's no doubt. I just want it in my collection. So I think that's also the most likely. I think the other one that's also the most likely we're going to get on here is probably God of War.
Yeah, I would say that one as well.
I hands down, they're probably going to make a custom God of War console for PS5. I mean, those blades on the outside of the PS5 are just made to be customized, and I can't wait to see what they come up with there. Because my PS5 did get canceled by Target, this opens up for the potential that maybe I will wait until there is a custom console there for my game room, you know, to add that to my collection as well. So, yeah, okay. Halo Infinite all the way, man.
All right. Like I said, I feel like a lot of us are going to share that opinion. I feel like it is the most likely one to get a custom console. It just feels like we have to have a Halo custom console for sure. So I'm 100% on board with that. Now, let's go ahead and throw this over to you. Game past that, out of those 4 options, or it could be something completely different. Doesn't have to be those 4. Which one would you like?
I mean, out of those 4 options, I mean, I feel like the Halo console is just a self-fulfilled prophecy already. Like, you know, there's going to be a Halo console at some point within this life cycle of the consoles. So, I mean, I'm going to love to see it when it happens, but I feel like out of those choices, like, obviously Fable would probably be number 1 for me, just to see what they do with it. I feel like that would be really awesome to see, like, the art style, like, incorporated into that. But off the list, I mean, I think that I'd be more excited to see some things with some of the IPs that are like part of the like Bethesda acquisition, like maybe a Doom custom console, or I mean, I wouldn't mind going back to the roots and maybe another Forza custom, because that was honestly one of my favorite custom controllers.
nice.
Was the Forza controller, the blue one that had like the rubber grips on the bottom. Like that was, I wish that was still like a modern controller, honestly, when I was looking at it. So I would love to see more custom controllers as well. But I'd like to see them dip a little bit deeper into go beyond just the Halo Xbox, because we've done that quite a bit.
Okay. All right, cool. I like those options, man. So great reasoning as to why it makes sense for that. So let's go ahead. Before I move on to the next person, I do want to show some love here in the chat. Everybody showing love to the show. Shout out to Sean too with the $2 super sticker, man. Appreciate you showing support for the channel. Once again, guys, that's something you guys can do now. It is part of the channel. So if you'd like to support us even further, shout out to everybody who does decide to do that. And as well as, let me throw it up here. Shout out to you, Smitty Smith. Says, as Centurion, as an architect and creator of the Book of X, you should be blessed with another Series X. Salute. So that was directed to you, Centurion. Shout out to you. Shout out to Smitty Smith for supporting the show, man. Once again, that's something you guys were able to do.
I saw his comment about like the Book of X, and see, here's the thing. In every Book of X, in every good book, there are some of those that have to make that sacrifice. And I will honestly say the sacrifice was I don't get to play my X day one, but honestly, I could I'm just saying, like, there's people that would have trashed Xbox up and down, and I just accepted it as this is just the way it is. And pretty much, I mean, I already had one executive reach out and say, you know, I'm glad that you're not trashing the fact that it broke.
Yeah, no, it could have definitely went the other way. So, matter of fact, while you're talking, it was going to be on you anyway, man. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, the poll of the week, brother, where you at with that, man? Out of those options, Centurion.
Oh, if they would have had a Halo console, I would have bought that one, and then I would have bricked that one and asked for another one. No, but I would love a Halo console. That thing would look probably pretty cool as a Halo console. I mean, like thinking back to like the first Halo game when you're in the hallways of the actual alien structure and you have all those like lines of color and everything. I think it'd be cool if they somehow got it to where, you know, you had that purple, but then you also had those glowing blue lines going through it way, somehow.
So many cool ideas you could do with that. So much. Okay, so was that it? Was that it as far as
no, that's pretty much like, I mean, like that, dude, I would be a day one buyer for any kind of like, because I remember I got the Scorpio console, and see, that's kind of the funny part. That one actually bricked out at 9 or 10 months. The hard drive went out on it, so I'm just kind of used to consoles breaking. Regrettably, it's just, and it's the dark side of the hobby that we all enjoy. And so, you know, that's why I just kind of like not one of those people that are gonna like grab a keyboard and smash it live on YouTube.
Oh, that's good. We don't need none of that. There's too many people doing that nowadays. So, all right, man. Well, glad to hear that the Halo option. Like I said, I think a lot of us feel the same way about the Halo option. I mean, I almost left it off of here because I knew it was going to be an overwhelming favorite, but got to show love to Halo at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and slide this topic over to you, Fuzzy. Where are you at with this, man? So which one would you enjoy and why? I know there may be one or two that's probably not on the list.
Well, as far as what's on the list, Halo, definite. Can totally understand. It's pretty much the tempo for the Xbox brand. But for me, I mean, yeah, you didn't include Forza. Come on, what are you doing? But instead of Forza, I was thinking something that's coming out hopefully in the next year or two, which would be what do you call them? Starfield. I would like to see that have a custom console. I don't know the full details of the story yet, but something that's space related, like even if like there was a Mass Effect console, that would be awesome. But something that's going to be a first party setup, I would totally like to see Starfield for a Series X. And then on the PlayStation side of things, I got to go with a Gran Turismo one. That would be, because not knocking the white and black scheme that they have, but something with a racing stripe, or maybe like a old golf paint scheme where it's like that seafoam blue with a little hint of orange, something like that. sold. That would be a hands down must buy custom console. I could see a lot of people wanting to go with like a God of War, but I don't want the symbols and things like that on mine. I would just rather have something that looks like it's a racing stripe or like a PC case that's, race inspired type of thing.
Yeah.
But those would be my two choices: a Starfield and a Gran Turismo one. That would be it for me.
All right, cool. That's funny because both consoles are highly customizable as far as the way they look, their ergonomics. You can do a lot with both consoles. They have great palettes, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, one's a little bit bigger than the other, but ultimately, both great looking consoles at the end of the day. You kind of split hairs when you're going from that perspective. But either way, let's go ahead and keep this thing moving. Once again, everybody, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Appreciate the support. Super chat is open. Love the support already. Let's get into the chat, man. So next thing we're going to just be talking about, as you can see, the biggest thing that happened was the consoles launching. Obviously, if you've been sleeping under a rock, both amazing consoles came out this week, PS5 as well as the Xbox Series X and S. So we're going to talk about, just give some hands-on thoughts. We're not going to go too in-depth. There's tons of YouTube videos. If you want to go in further in depth, we're going to give our brief overview on the hands-on experience of having the console already. Now, I don't have either or as of yet, so I'm not going to give my perspective until I get one. Now, we're going to go with I believe everybody else here at least has had them in their home at one point. So we'll start with you, Mav. Just kind of a quick review of what you think of I believe you have both. You have a PS5 as well, right, Mav?
No, my PS5
No?
Target canceled. I've been trying
Okay.
to get one.
Oh, that's right. You told me for the show. That's right. Okay.
Yeah. So I had it all secured, pre-ordered, ready to go, paid for everything, and they canceled it while the funds were still pending in my account for the transaction. So I don't know. But anyway, screw Target. Sorry. Yeah, I've been trying to get one. It didn't happen, but I do have two Xbox Series X. I have one in our bedroom that my wife's been playing on. I have one where I'm sitting right now, and I also have a Series S in our living room. It's where my daughter usually plays. And man, it's been a great experience so far. The Series S, I'll comment on that first because I haven't heard a lot of people talking about that as much, right? Because a lot of people want to compare the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, right? Which both, from everything I'm seeing online, from the PS5 gameplay looks incredible. I know the Series X, the gameplay, things I've been experiencing are mind blowing. But the Series S has surprised me in a good way. I almost felt like, okay, I'm getting, two for the adults and I'm getting the Series S for my daughter. I feel bad. I'm pawning the cheaper one off on her, right? We had a 1X in there. So she was used to playing on 4K. She plays a lot, right? And I put the Series S in there and I was not expecting to see such an improvement visually in the optimized games that she's been playing. So namely Fortnite. She plays a ton of Fortnite. Okay. I booted that game up. It downloaded the update and night and day, it looks way better on the Series S than it did the 1X.
Oh, wow.
Shadows better, colors are better. It has like reflections in the windows and stuff it didn't have before, and then also the experience of moving around, selecting characters is just so super fast and fluid. And also, she's a kid. She doesn't play like these huge, massive games like Call of Duty and stuff, right? She plays, she plays Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite. I was able to get 13 games on there with the storage and no issues, right? So she's been having an absolute blast. That has been such a great experience. And then on top of that, the surprise of being able to install Planet Coaster and Tetris Effect Connected, which came out day one on Game Pass as brand new games, was an exciting thing for her. So that was awesome as well. Series S, amazing experience. Series X as well is amazing experience. For me and my wife, we've been playing a lot of games. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is just, oh my gosh, I've been loving Dirt 5 as well, having a blast. Flipping through games. I played Call of Duty some the other day when it came out. Again, an amazing experience. I will say one thing, guys. If for those of you who do not have a Series X yet, do not think you're saving yourself a lot of time by moving the games that are Series XS optimized off of a 1X or 1 and onto an external drive. Okay. Because you will plug in your external drive and you will move it and transfer it to the internal. That's fast. It goes pretty well, right? And then when you go to upgrade it, the upgrade size, the update is pretty much the size of the game. Okay. So don't even bother. Just download the games because you're just creating more work for yourself. Now, backwards compatibility.
I thought I was crazy when I discovered that. I thought it was just me.
It's not just you.
I thought I did something wrong because have you ever downloaded a game twice on accident?
Yes, I did actually. So management with that stuff has been confusing. So also if you have the game plugged in to the if you have it on an external drive and you hit A to launch it, it'll prompt you to upgrade. Okay. If you upgrade it when it's on your external drive, the upgrade will install on your internal drive, but you won't be able to launch the game. Okay. So you actually have to go then and uninstall the game and re-download it back on the internal drive. So just any Series XS optimized games that are next gen optimized, just download them from scratch. Save yourself the trouble. It's not worth the time of moving it and then upgrading it. Okay, so that's a little tip. I thought I was being clever. I thought I was prepared, but I screwed myself. I spent a day of downloads and updates that I should not have had to do. It was way faster on my the downstairs console and on my daughter's when I just downloaded the games from scratch.
Okay, so he's giving y'all some key pro tips there. So take heed, save yourself a lot of time, man. So shout out to you, man. Appreciate that, man. Glad you got a console. Glad you're having a ball with it, man. Glad your daughter's playing it as well, man. Awesome to hear. So let's go ahead and move on to you. Game past that, just get your quick perspective, on just your launch so far, how things have been going with the console in hand, and how you been enjoying it.
Yeah, man. It's been really fantastic. Basically, as speculation stated, like I thought I was super slick. Like I spent the whole day, like before the Xbox arrived, like choosing exactly which games I wanted to have, like on my external hard drive, and like planning out how I was going to transfer them over to the new system and just make it be such a super easy experience because I really wanted to test out quick resume with all these games. And I was under the impression that it had to be on the hard drive, which I'll get to in a second. But I literally probably spent an extra 2 or 3 hours setting everything up because I transferred it over to the Xbox and then still had to download the updates. And then also my in my 1000 IQ play that was transferring all this, I decided to click on like every single game I thought would fit, not remembering that my external drive was 2 terabytes. And just the fact that I decided to try and install about 1.5 terabytes of data on a 1 terabyte drive that only has 800 gigs available really slowed down the entire process itself. So definitely second the notion of if you want to have the games that are optimized, it's faster just to download them directly if you can afford the data because you got to download it anyway. But me being the type of person that likes to play a bunch of different games at once, I was like, I want to be so ready and spent all this time copying it just to have to download it again and manage everything. But I was super excited because after I did all that and after I got into playing, it would have been a lot faster if I would have just left the back compact games on the hard drive because quick resume still works on the external drive, even if it's not the proprietary option. I've just got this drive that I bought like 2 years ago to go with my when I got my Xbox One X to make sure I had enough room for all the games I wanted to play. And it still stores in the RAM like your current play, and it just loads off the hard drive. And honestly, like the load times are still faster from my experience, just based off the CPU. Like I was going back and playing a lot of stuff and it was loading a lot faster than it was before. So everything's looking great. And like right now I don't have a 4K pass through on my capture card. So I'm playing in 1080p, but it still looks awesome and everything's running smoothly and better than ever for sure.
Awesome. Glad to hear, man. Everybody's having different experiences, but I love to see some of those features that we learned about very early when they launched a console and gave us a breakdown. I love to see those features being utilized heavily. That quick resume is, I feel like it's a bigger thing than a lot of people. It's more of an experience. You got to kind of experience it. Because what the vibes I've been getting as far as what I've been seeing people talk about that. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's
Like
definitely awesome to see.
the lack of wait times definitely changes everything. Like I was playing Fallen Order, and when you like die permanently in that, like it took like maybe 15 to 30 seconds like to reload back where you're at. But
Yeah.
like the rest of it was pretty much seamless for like the planned load times essentially. So that felt like an eternity, even though it was like 20 seconds of getting back to where we were. Which I thought was pretty funny when I like timed it out. But the seamlessness of the experience on those old games that used to have like such a divide really makes it feel next gen. Even though the dashboard, we've already been living in the dashboard since October. Like we've had the future already, but that was kind of bittersweet, I think.
Yeah. Okay. And speaking of that dashboard, not to circumvent or sidetrack here, but this won't be the only version. We get about three of them a generation, 3 or 4 different dashboards a gen. So I'm sure we'll see another one or two versions of this thing. So either or, man, either or. Shout out to you, Game Pass Dad, man. Once again, let me go ahead and show some love in the chat. Shout out to the Blue, man. A super chat of $5. Lovely next gen. Hope everyone is enjoying their new console. Yeah, for sure. Sounds like everybody on the panel is so far. So let's go ahead. I'm actually gonna go ahead and let's get to you, Centurion. I know it's kind of been well documented your initial experience, but as far as the defeat before everything happened, had you gotten a chance to really like try any features?
So I don't. All right, I don't want it to turn into, oh my God, Centurion's gonna like beat the dead horse or beat the dead Series X now. Let's just pretend. Okay. So for starters, I did the same thing that Mr. Fun Speculation over here did. I thought I was going to get ahead of the game. I had all my consoles networked together. I did the whole thing, and they were downloading, and I went to start up Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and you click it, and it's all, you need an update. And I'm like, I downloaded this game last night. And I'm like, oh, that's right. It's going to be the Velocity Architecture patch. And you hit update now and you go to that screen and it's all 48 and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Am I re-downloading the game again? Did I do something wrong? So that's why I said like that console was on for 5 hours. So about 2.5 hours of it was about updating, getting it out of the box and finding out that you got to use your cell phone to kind of fire up the update. At least that was the way it wanted me to do it anyways, was to use the app on my phone. And then got the whole thing going, but about 7:30, 8 o'clock is when I was able to play on it. And about 10 o'clock, that's when that happened. But playing on it for those few hours, I mean, oh my God, it was amazing just to click that, play game. And within 20 seconds, you're already at the screen to, basically start loading into the game and the actual I remember playing Odyssey. When you would desynchronize an Odyssey, it would take a little while for you to actually get back into the game. And I even put it in my video on how quick that process was. I was very happy with how that thing loaded. I mean, oh my God, that's going to be like a life changer. I mean, like, can you truly, like, I don't care about graphics or anything. Can you truly go back to, playing, imagine being able to play on a Series X for a very, very, very long time and something does happen to it and you go get your Xbox One X out, because that's just what I did. And all of a sudden you're just like, oh my God, this loading screen sucks.
You know what you had till it's gone for sure.
Oh, dude, like, I'm not trying to sound cheesy, but it's like kind of like going from living in a house that was lit by candles to having a house that's lit by electricity. And it was like, I don't want the electricity to go away.
That's
That's
why I didn't go back to Grand Theft Auto like 3 months ago, as the load screen was too long.
See, that's the whole point. It's still the same damn house, because there's like really, unless you're looking for like reflections and, basically understanding what that architecture is capable of outside of graphics, unless you're looking for that stuff, the graphics are going to be pretty closely similar to, I guess, what you're used to looking at, especially looking at it on a computer screen. You just have to be there to understand it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you're never going to truly experience the Series X on anybody's video.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's the thing with a lot of the features. That's what I was talking about. Once you got to test those features out in real life, now we're going to become accustomed to certain things, just like Centurion was saying.
But yeah, it's like I only got to play it for like 2.5 hours, and I don't want my money back. I could have got my money back. No, I want another one.
No, for sure. But I mean, as far as the features and things like that, we're going to come accustomed to those things, and load times being almost non-existent, and yeah, that's just going to become the norm, and that's going to be the toughest thing I think if you have to go back. You know what I'm saying? Even with
Mhm.
PC, you still able to take advantage of those advantages because of the hardware, but like busting out that old system is going to be a no-no. Like nobody's going to do that. So let's go and get this over to you, Fuzz, to
Mhm.
wrap this topic up before we move on forward, man. Shout out to everybody. Let me just show some quick love in the chat. Cyber Gunter, what's up, brother? I see you lurking in there, Stag. Shout out to you. Xbot joined us, man. Shout out to Xbot, man. My guy, appreciate you hanging out. Hypnos, everybody in the chat, everybody even watching live that's not in the chat. Get in the chat if you're not in the chat. Please do that. Do us a favor, man. Hang out with us. Shoot the shit, man. But let's go ahead and let's get this over to you, Fuzz, man. Where you at with this, man?
Well, from the pre-order up to the delivery, about the hardest thing I've had to deal with was watching the track number and checking my phone every few minutes on my Series X and the boys Series S's. It didn't look like the FedEx guys were going to get it here on Tuesday because it was still in Kentucky like that morning, and magically it appeared from Kentucky to Philadelphia. So I guess they flew it from Kentucky or flew it from Indiana on, but yeah, that thing got there on time. The FedEx guy was, he already knew what was in the boxes, I guess, because he's been delivering them all day. Got them out the box. Didn't set mine up until like a day later. Wanted to make sure the boys had theirs set up and stuff. But like everyone else was saying, I went or thinking I was smart, moving everything to the external. It would have been better just to just re-download the stuff I was going to put on the internal. But overall, the trickiest part is just making sure you get the Series S and X version of the game. Accidentally on the Series S, we downloaded Cold War, the standard version, which for whatever reason doesn't seem to want to work in back compat. So they were complaining like, "Oh, it's laggy and it crashes after a while and it loses progress." I was like, "Wait a minute." And then sure enough, they eventually figured out, it wasn't the right version that they had downloaded
Oh,
to the
wow.
internal. But outside of that, I've been extremely happy. Like load times is, I definitely couldn't go back. Like I was thinking of another analogy. It's like going from like trying to make popcorn on the stove versus popcorn in the microwave. I mean, sometimes it tastes better if you're on have a lot of time before the movie starts type of thing. But yeah, I'm happy with the load times of the Series X. I don't think I could ever go back.
I like his analogy better.
But yeah, with like things like Forza Horizon 4, it used to be 2 minutes before that game would start. It's like 18 seconds now. You go to switch cars. Switching cars used to be a minute. It's like 3 seconds. I'm like, this this is a whole new day. It's like I can knock out like 3 races in the time it used to take me to do the loading up of the game and one race type of thing. But outside of that, extremely happy. I'm so happy I made that purchase. Now, on the flip side of things, can't seem to get a hold of a PS5, and it looks like it's going to be like that for some time. I guess the next big wave is going to be Black Friday, which I guess they're going to do an online thing again, as well as have some in the store, which that's just going to be a nightmare. But was trying to get one. I guess I'm not going to be able to get one until next year, but the way I look at it right now, I have enough to play on my Series X that it's like, okay, Miles Morales will have to wait. I'll just have to see what the back and pad on like Ghost of Tsushima and Gran Turismo Sport look like a little bit later on. But yeah, the new consoles in general, it's Christmas for me early. So that's all I have on that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, once again, man, another satisfied customer sounds like. And once again, the thing I'm picking up here is a lot of those features that they talked about are actually becoming game-changing features. These are the things that people are talking about when they're saying, look, these are the things that make these consoles feel truly next-gen. It's not always about just the numbers, power, things like that. Sometimes it's the small things. And a lot of those features that we went over, we talked about, how would these things play into the games and how would people actually utilize these features, are actually being utilized very well and people are enjoying them. So let's go ahead and keep it moving, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit the like button if you're in here hanging out with us. If you're watching live, hit the like button anyway. Appreciate the support. Super chat is live. Hit us up if you want to further support the show. That's awesome. Thank you guys for that. So let's keep it moving. So we're talking about Sony 2021 release window, and IGN a couple days ago on Twitter put out a it was just a picture on showing Sony's release window in 2021, and I wanted to get into that a little bit. And I actually want to talk about one thing that was actually missing from that picture. Now, the first half of 2021, we got Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. We're already aware of that. Gran Turismo 7, already aware of that. Returnal, another game that we saw, I believe, when they showed their games, I think for the first time when we got the Returnal gameplay, I believe. We saw that then. And then second half, Horizon Forbidden West. Now, we all thought that was coming 2021. One game we did not see that they did put out a date for was God of War Ragnarok for 2021 as well, but it is not on that list. So I just want to talk about, we've heard about these launch lineups not being that spectacular for both consoles, but launch window coming up 2021, we see Sony. And the interesting thing is that they already put out a date for God of War, but you don't see it on that list. So I just want to talk to you first, Mav, about that. What do you think about, first of all, to me, that's a strong year. That's 4 really good games if they can all come out on time. So where are you at with that, man?
So which games that you said? Returnal. We had Gran Turismo.
Horizon, and then Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Yeah. So that's already a great start.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo is probably my most anticipated from that list. I love Gran Turismo. In fact, my favorite racing game of all time is the first Gran Turismo. So, and yeah, that's coming from an Xbox fan, guys. Yes, I also like PlayStation. Gran Turismo, going back, it just has always just been a good time. I love that it's different than any other racing game. It just has a different flavor, so that's strong right there. Returnal, I got to see some more. I really I don't know a whole lot about how that game's going to be. Well, Horizon's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be great. But then also like Hogwarts, I think maybe a 2021 game.
You're right. I forgot about that.
You also got Deathloop.
Yeah.
You also got Ghostwire Tokyo. Destruction All Stars is going to be on PS Plus. You got Kina, Bridge of Spirits.
Yeah, I think it's going to, didn't it?
It's a 2021, right?
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I think that's pushed back to 2021. I'm not 100% on that because I don't have a PS5, so I haven't been keeping up as much, right? But man, it's a strong lineup. Like they got great games over there on PlayStation, and they're gonna keep them coming. And we all know that about the brand that they're gonna be there. So I think it's a solid lineup. I'm looking forward to being able to play a lot of those games. Some of them I'm not as interested in, but Gran Turismo. But now, do I have faith that Gran Turismo is going to come out in 2021? We'll see. Gran Turismo is one of those games where they take a long time. You know what I mean? Like it's between major releases, and the last one we got was like kind of like a half Gran Turismo game. Is like Gran Turismo Sport, right? It wasn't like a full-fledged release,
Oh, yeah.
And that's the second time they've done that. I think is when we were waiting on, was it Gran Turismo 5 that took forever? There was like a Gran Turismo like demo game that came out that was like $40 or something. I don't know if y'all remember that. So yeah, I'm super excited about the release. I think it's strong. If God of War gets pushed to 2022, yeah, that's fine. I think take as much time with that game as they need. I think it'll be great when it comes out, and it's the whole, and it's not, it goes beyond. I know we're talking about PlayStation right now, but man, we're in for a treat coming.
Oh, yeah, for
and
sure.
The next like 2, 3, 4 years from now, we're gonna have some of the biggest, best, most badass games that we've ever experienced in our life, because the platforms that they're going to be releasing on are so capable of producing high quality games and smooth experiences, great visuals, big worlds. I mean, it's going to be an amazing time, guys. So just be prepared because it's going to keep hitting like crazy, and we're in for a major treat.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing too. I think once again we got to remember this generation just started; it's in infancy. So we're gonna get a lot of games. A lot of studios have been integrated. They've been working on a lot of different things on both sides. So it is not over, man. We have not hit our stride yet at all. So let's go ahead and get this over to you, Game Pass. That where you at, man? That launch lineup, that launch window. I just told you about Sony, and it's a very strong launch window. Obviously, I think most sane people figured God of War was not going to be 2021 just because that game started or actually came out after Horizon did.
Right.
So if Horizon's coming out the same year as God of War, like that's not Sony doesn't generally do that. So, but so where you at just with the launch lineup and obviously the omission of God of War?
I mean, I feel like Sony is definitely bringing like a strong lineup. Like, I mean, I don't follow PlayStation as closely as I do Xbox for probably pretty obvious reasons, but definitely, I mean, I'm happy to see that Sony is doing what Sony does, and they're putting together great games and a great lineup. I would be really interested, like, with how ambitious some of it is, like, to see if, like you're saying, like, God of War probably isn't going to be 2021. The odds of like Gran Turismo never seems to release on time. Like, I mean, those are two games that I would probably consider at some point purchasing a PlayStation for, but definitely not like a day one release date type of situation for me. But I mean, this will probably come up later. But I'm interested to see how many of these games though that aren't like first party Sony games like end up trickling over to Xbox and PC though also. But at the end of the day, I'm always happy to see that across the board there, that on their side they're bringing a lot of software to support the hardware, and they're making sure to stay competitive.
Awesome. Great take. So now I completely agree. And that's one thing Sony has been known for this past generation. Strong first party lineup. I think even with the acquisitions, it's going to take Xbox a bit longer.
Right.
Once Xbox hits its stride, though, I think we're off to the races at that point.
Yeah, remember, Ghostwire Tokyo and also Deathloop are going to be timed exclusives
Right.
for sure. Those I think have a 1 year exclusivity window for PlayStation.
Yeah.
So we'll probably get those games on Xbox in 2022.
Yeah,
And
crazy.
I already have such a backlog. I'm having fun right now with games that have like come into Game Pass. Like right now I'm playing Fallen Order finally and having a ton of fun with that. It looks fantastic on the Series X. Like, yeah, I wish I had more new shiny things to distract me right now, but it's like there's not any shortage of games to play right now on Xbox, and a lot of these games we're going to be able to play eventually as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get this over to you, Centurion, man. Where you at with that Sony launch window? That great lineup of games that we just talked about, obviously with the omission of God of War. Man, once again, Chad, let us know how you guys feel.
I've been listening to the games you guys talk about, but now, like, what do you mean by launch window? See, that's where I've been trying to figure out exactly how big is a launch window.
Well, within the first 12 months of the console coming out, essentially.
So first 12 months, we're calling that. I've had some people say 3 months. I've had some people say 12 months. There's some great games in there. I would say out of any of them, God, probably going to take some slack for this one, but I would be looking forward to Horizon Zero Dawn, or at least the sequel to it. If you're asking which game am I looking forward to, God, I don't even know what to say about the lineup because I've been trying to figure the lineup out actually the whole time we've been chatting, exactly what games are coming out and when. And I'll be really truthful. I haven't had anything too spectacular to make me go, oh my God, I got to play that, other than the Spider-Man game, which I'm looking forward to playing hopefully this next coming weekend.
All right, that's fair. No, I completely understand that. So, all right, well, I mean, once again, the launch window, that's different depending on who you ask. I'm just saying 12 months here just because.
Well, the whole reason why I bring up launch window is that's why you didn't have the experience I did when I had the God, I'm not even going to say it because that goes against what I do. So I had a very fun individual whose name is a 4-letter word on, the Twitter streets. decide to like kind of like, you know, hit me up and go, hey, you know, you don't got Halo on launch, you know, blah, blah, blah. Now, if by some chance Halo comes out in the next 12 months, by that math, technically that's a launch title. But I guess
when you
that,
asked, I said to that's kind of what I set the bar at.
and that's where, you know, but then all of a sudden, they were talking about, you know, games that were going to be there when the console first came out. And then all of a sudden they brought up a game that actually got slated for, like pretty much close to when the like around the 1 year mark of the PS5. And I was just like, well, wait a minute, that by your math, that makes it a launch title. So if Halo Infinite comes out between now and then, that makes it a launch title by your math. And so all of a sudden, like the whole conversation went another direction as soon as I tried using their math. So I guess that's why I guess when people say launch window, I kind of go, well, what's your idea of a window?
Yeah. Well, that's just that. Once again, if you're asking me, that's what I look at it as. So that's kind of where I set the bar just for the topic and the question. So ultimately, once again, it is how you view it. But I think strong lineup. I think both. Like I said, it's going to take Xbox.
Oh, no, there's some strong lineup. Now, if you're asking like, oh, right now when the console's first coming out, no. My PS5 right now has a good chance of being played very heavily, especially if it shows up on time on Tuesday, just because I don't have a Series X. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I wanted a PS5, yes, because there is games I want to play on it. The funny part is my wife is actually a PlayStation girl, so of course I'm gonna have a PlayStation around for her. It's an excuse to have one. What do you want me to say? Anyways, it's the games that are coming out later in 2021 that really have my head turning. You know, that the Horizon game. If God of War Ragnarok really turns out to be 2021, that's going to be one that I'm looking forward to. But even like we saw, like you posted, they haven't really mentioned much of it. And what are we going to get 2021? Are we going to get a game? Are we going to get an update? Are we going to get a teaser trailer? We haven't exactly been told. So that's where, you know, at the same time, I'm not going to hold my breath on that, but I am excited for Sony's launch window, air quotations, further into the generation, or at least the first year.
All right, cool. All right, well, let's go ahead and throw this over to you then, Fuzz. Let's go ahead and round out this topic. Once again, everybody in the chat, let us know, man. This topic isn't just for the panel. It's for you guys in the chat. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already. Run those likes up. It does help the podcast be seen. Before you start, Fuzz, shout out to Stag with the $2 super sticker, man. Appreciate the support in the chat, lurking, making everybody uncomfortable. We love you, Stag, man. Appreciate you. I hope you feel better, man. So, Fuzz, let's get it to you, man. Let's wrap this up so we can move on, man.
Well, for me, for the ones that IGN listed, at least, I was looking forward to Gran Turismo and Returnal. I didn't expect Gran Turismo to be in the first half of 2021, but I'll take it. Hopefully by then I'll have a PS5, but we'll see. But Returnal was one of those I was looking forward to. If for those that may not know, think of a company that's good at doing like side-scrolling shooters. They are the ones that did Resogun, but now it's going to be more of like a third-person view. So I'm really curious to see how that space shooter in third person kind of works. Kena was another one I was looking forward to.
That one got put back.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that one looked like kind of like the Unreal Engine demo that they did. That's kind of like the game version of it. I don't know if the 2021 date is going to be solid. Hopefully it is, but considering that they pushed it back, because I think it was originally supposed to be a launch title, and we'll just see if they can get everything going in time for 2021. But those are the main ones I'm looking forward to. I've kind of lost interest in Horizon Forbidden West, and it's part of what the devs said before about when the PS4 couldn't, support the flying mechanic or whatever. So they kind of dropped it. Well, if it's going to be on the PS4 as well, are they going to drop the flying mechanic again? I mean, if they come out and say something like, hey, only flying mechanic is available on the PS5, then yeah, great. I'll definitely pick it up. But if they don't make any mention of it, it's not available because it's also on the PS4, I'll pass for now. I'll wait until it's on PC and see if the modding community has figured out a way to add it. But yeah, those are the biggest things. But as far as the God of War, I'm the conspiracy theorist. I'm still the one thinking that the God of War, if it does come in 2021, that it would be kind of like a continuation story, like a Miles Morales type of thing, with a lot more replayability as far as like your upgrades and things like that, like the original game has, but just with a lot more depth as far as the customization and things along those lines. But I considering how fast they announced it, I was thinking that it was going to be more in tune with that. And I kind of feel the same thing when it comes to Horizon Forbidden West, that it was going to be more of a continuation story, not to call it DLC or anything like that, but considering they want to hurry, I won't say hurry up, but they want to make sure that they put out a premium title or premium IP for this PS5 early on to kind of get the hooks in, new gamers as well as their current fan base. It makes sense for them to do a continuation story, and then like 3 years down the road from that, have a full fledged on next generation only, because they'll be past that 3 or 4 year period at that point of when they support the PS4. So that's when they'll do the complete, from the ground up. It's built for the faster SSD. It's built for the new architecture. It's built, with next generation in mind only. That's when we'll see the full fledged game. So God of War, I'm still thinking continuation story, still coming maybe late 2021, early 2022. But the launch lineup that they have over at PlayStation, it looks like if everything arrives on time, it looks like they had at least a somewhat better or kind of better backup plan, I guess you could say. So if one title fell behind schedule, they had a couple more ready to go.
Yeah.
That were in the public's eyes type of thing. But
Yeah.
Still looking forward to trying to just get the PS5. That's the first step.
Trying to secure the console is hard enough already, man. But yeah, shout out, man. Once again, we're not. It's not really. It's diversity of the lineup. Once again, they're coming through with a strong lineup, like you said. Lots of great games in that short period of time. Obviously, the omission being God of War. I figured that wasn't going to be 2021. I didn't realize till you brought it up, Fuzz, about the idea that potentially that not being. I don't want to say not obviously not DLC, but maybe more along the lines of just an addition to an already solid game. Not really a separate part two or a separate full game. So I kind of, that idea is very interesting as well, because of the short amount of time between. We usually see a longer period of time between these large games for Sony. All right, but let's go ahead and keep this thing moving on to the last topic. Once again, everybody, retweet the show, let everybody know we are live right now. Shout out to everybody hanging out in the chat. Lethal Terminus, man. Bacon just dropped in here. Shout out to you, everybody hanging out, man. Appreciate you guys so much, man. So let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. So I want to do something real fun here. This is way too early to do this, but I always do it anyway because it's fun to kind of just shoot the shit, and why not, right? So I want to do way too early predictions for this generation. You got to give me two. I'm not letting you get off the mic without giving me two. So we starting with you, Mav.
No, geez.
Well, yeah, two. I need both.
Two for each console, or just two in general?
Two in general. Two in general. We don't gotta do two each console. Two in general. Just
okay.
Chat. Let us know two early predictions. Way too early predictions for this gen.
Okay, I'll say that this is. I'm gonna have some controversial ones, so we'll see. I think the Xbox Series S is going to be the highest selling console in the United States.
I don't know if that's a stretch.
Prediction?
Yeah.
Well, maybe PlayStation destroyed Xbox this gen.
True.
Right?
No, absolutely. Yeah.
So
okay.
It might be a stretch to half of the fans out there. So that's number one. Maybe that's too early to tell, but okay. So then I'll say my second prediction is that within 3 years, Xbox will have acquired another major publisher. I'm talking big time. Something that'll freak people out and make people shake in their boots. That'll be my next one.
Okay. All right. All right. Now you said a publisher. You didn't say just a studio.
I didn't say developer.
Oh.
I said publisher. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like Ubisoft or Sega or Capcom or I'm not gonna get some of these. Some of them I think are out of reach. But I wouldn't go as far as maybe not even saying EA would be a
So
possibility.
you're saying they're going full Lord Sauron?
Well, because
one ring to rule them all kind of thing. They'll be like, we own it all.
I think the industry as a whole is going in this direction. There's going to be way more acquisitions in general over the next 10 years than we've seen in the past. And it's going to be bigger acquisitions because of what Google and Amazon are doing and the future of cloud gaming. So Sony is going to be doing this as well. So Sony is going to be acquiring more studios because everybody's bolstering up for the war ahead of the future of gaming. And the ability to get content into people's hands and subscriptions is going to be the name of the game in the future. Xbox has got a head start on this. They've got a major head start on this, and they also have a lot of money, right? So that's why they're saying they're competing with Amazon. They're competing with Google. They're not really thinking about Sony as much with the long term, right? They're thinking future. And it's in our best interest as gamers if we like playing games on console, because we think right now that and PC gaming is the best experience, being able to at least download our games natively and play them natively, right? So it's in our best interest if Xbox or Sony acquires these studios and potential publishers as opposed to Amazon or Google, who's going to be more focused on just the cloud gaming experience, right? Because it's years away from that being able to be caught up with the quality of playing games natively downloaded on your system. So I think acquisitions are going to happen. They're going to be major, and I think publishers are going to start being acquired, because in order for them to stay afloat and be in the game against Microsoft and Amazon and Google, they would have to start their own subscription services, which you've already seen them starting, but they're not going to be able to get those to succeed at a wide scale level, because nobody's going to pay for like 10 different subscriptions, right? So these subscriptions are going to be consolidated into things like Game Pass, and who else knows what's going to be out there. PlayStation Now could expand dramatically and become something bigger and more along the same price. But anyway, that's the shift we're going to see. So maybe you make that my second prediction, right? Okay. I don't know, but that's what we're going to see happen.
All right, man. I like that. I like the confidence in those two choices, man. Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Game Pass. Your two choices, man. Where you at? Way too early predictions, Pat. Let us know.
Definitely tailing on the end of the previous prediction there is I do feel that Sony, if they want to stay competitive, that they're most likely going to reinvest in their cloud gaming platform and their game subscription service, because that really is going to be the main place that they're not competing, and I think they're going to find themselves losing ground. So, I mean, part of that prediction is I think that Sony is going to have, like, they're going to bolster those platforms, but I really feel that Xbox is going to have a lot more even keel sales, like you're saying. Like the Xbox Series S is well positioned to win North America, so I feel like they're going to close the gap between like that sales difference, and really it's gonna be a whole different ball game. But at the same time, I don't know, like crazy prediction, Microsoft buys Sony. Who knows?
Oh my goodness.
No, that's too far. But I definitely I see something like maybe an EA or a publisher down the road as well. But I mean, I guess the other thing I'd say, like the curveball that we don't see for this generation, which also kind of goes back into the topic of like the release schedule that Sony has. Like it's a very aggressive schedule. I mean, honestly, we never saw 2020 coming with everything going on with COVID and everything else. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see some pretty major shakeups of delays and possible, like seeing maybe some long-term names. Like if we don't get back to normal anytime soon. I mean, gaming, I think, is relatively safe, but if we don't at least see some delays, like we might see some studio closures depending on how things go over the next year here. Like, who knows, like, what's going to happen in the industry, or at least like, I don't think some of these release schedules are going to continue to be met if we can't keep a continuity of business here over the next year. So I think it'll be interesting to see if everything continues to accelerate how it has been. But with being able to game at home, like I said, I feel like most of the businesses that are in the space are probably safe. But I think we're in for a surprise as to what's going to happen in the next 6 months here.
Okay. All right, man. Well, those some good predictions, man. I don't know how you follow those up, Centurion, but it's on you, my dude. So way too early predictions, brother.
How am I going to follow this up? Phil Spencer is going to come out on stage and flip the guy over at Sony the bird, and no, I'm playing. Oh my god, I can't take it that far.
That's very specific.
Yes.
No. Oh no! Well, you said crazy predictions now. So let's be realistic. How did this conversation turn into? Like, I feel like the financial report, but I can't disagree at all. Like, I really do see Microsoft. Let's for starters say they're making a lot of headway over in the Asian part of the world. They have definitely been excited about how they've been received over there. I'm not going to say that they're going to become number one, but I really do think this is going to be the generation that Microsoft definitely makes some headway over in those regions of the world. Definitely can't disagree. I would have to say they probably would do some pretty good MPD sales, if not take number one here in North America. But is that going to be due to ease of access for the ecosystem, or is that going to be due to availability of the product?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Those two
that's
real important factors.
That's my question. There's a lot of stuff goes into having, the success, I kind of guess, in gaming. But buying another studio purchase, why not? I mean, like, God, I kind of hate hopping onto the train, but definitely that's what Microsoft does. And, like Game Pass Dad said, there's going to be some studios hurting for money. And I definitely do see Microsoft as one of those companies that definitely look like that sees talent and sometimes won't just let it get swallowed up. And it'll sometimes bring some of that talent in on, I guess if the situation's right. So I could see Microsoft bringing in some new studios and also, like they're saying, a big publisher. I'm just curious, is it going to be EA or... God, wasn't there a rumor going around that they were going to get Ubisoft next?
Yeah, if it was Ubisoft, I would jump up and down with joy for about a week, I think. Game Pass, all the Tom Clancy games coming to Game Pass. I mean, my gosh.
Now, but please, obviously, I am Centurion. We got to play devil's advocate. Does that mean we got to deal with the standardization or, air quotation marks, corporatization of gaming? Do we got to basically, if you had gaming like that, would it soon develop into this game looks and feels like an Xbox game, this game looks and feels like a PlayStation game, and this game looks and feels like it's streamed?
Well, here's the thing with that, if you don't mind me chiming in on that, because think about how much that is, how many things there are, like how many studios does Xbox already have now that they've acquired ZeniMax, Bethesda and all those guys, and then Obsidian and Ninja Theory and all these studios. They have 23 studios that are capable of doing 35 projects or something like that. So the only way to make something like that possible and still expand is if they're doing what the approach is that they say they're doing, and to be hands off as possible, let these things run as separate businesses almost, where they still maintain their identity, their main base of operations, but then you support them as part of the family as well. So you can't just keep expanding and have everything in this like organized machine, because that's just not realistic. You have to bring those people in with 9 different studios at once. If you just try and like go in there, hey, send all your Microsoft minions in and change everything, it won't work. And I think they know that.
See, now can't we kind of say that is a little bit of what we're getting out of Sony? Because we're seeing some of the same I hate to say it, cookie cutter elements that are used
Third-person
in
open world adventures.
games from different studios.
Well, you see that with publishers across the board. Microsoft has done it with all these games being multiplayer social experiences. Ubisoft is all open world games with Outpost, where you go reveal more of the map. Right? So, that's part of these publishers' identity. But if you bring in these different publishers within these groups, at least it's separate. They have their own identity within Microsoft, right?
See, that's where I don't be a buzzkill. I love that, Shansu. I'm just looking at it like right now, we already can feel the differences in the ecosystems right now. The difference in the PlayStation ecosystem is a more of a single player, hate to say it, but much more polished ecosystem when it comes to just like what goes into that single player experience. Meanwhile, on the Xbox side of things, there is a much more heavier emphasis on a much more active ecosystem with multiplayer socialization. And even entertainment. They're really pushing for ways to bring your entertainment into like your, having like group experiences, watching movies and stuff like that. So definitely you could feel the differences in the ecosystems alone. And I'm just saying the more those ecosystems get bigger and bigger, do they become like black holes? And that's where I just don't want it to be like, these ecosystems are so big that it's actually hard for any, of like, I don't play a whole lot of independent games, but let's take a developer like Moon Studios with Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I don't want to see a game like that get kind of like lost in the mix because they chose to stay independent and not part of, I guess, this giant net that these corporate game studios are going to be part of.
No, I get what you're saying. I understand the idea, but traditionally, if you look at the way Xbox is dealt with, and I can't speak too much for Sony because I know Insomniac's relatively new purchase. They're doing Insomniac was Insomniac. They didn't really need Sony, but that was a great acquisition because they're actually a perfect fit. Like they've only done games for Sony outside of Sunset Overdrive.
I feel like a lot of Microsoft Studio purchases are still fresh. We're not like let's just see right now. Like, how long did it take Phil Spencer to recover from what Donnie D did with the series with the Xbox One launch?
We're still working on it.
We're still kind of getting some of the backlash from that. And that's where, so we're not going to see the fruits of what like these purchases can really produce probably until I want to say probably maybe 7 to 10 years after their purchase.
I'm sorry to talk over you. I feel like we've seen some of that already though, with like mainly out of Game Pass, I think is the main thing that's going to really keep that from happening if it's handled correctly. I mean, at least under Phil Spencer, what he seems to be trying to do right now is encouraging like those new voices and those games that might not get made because they're not $1 billion franchise in the making. Like we're seeing more of that right now. Like Grounded is a prime example of that. That was a small project that's like
people.
Small project at Obsidian that after someone saw it after the acquisition and they were like, hey, let's just throw this in the Game Pass. Like it doesn't have to be something that makes a ton of money, but 5 million people have spent a lot of time playing it and it can go up in front of 15 million people on Game Pass. Like we're going to see a lot more of that stuff, I feel, especially if we have the more hands off or if there's more encouragement to bring those ideas to the forefront. I feel like it's going to be great for innovation.
Yeah, and that's one thing that traditionally Xbox has done. If you've seen the way that they handle the studios that they purchase, they tend to let them kind of do what they want to do. That's the whole idea. That's if you go watch somebody like a Ninja Theory, their introduction video, kind of like their hey to everybody at Xbox, we're part of this idea now. They talked about them being surprised because they did not think that Xbox was going to just allow them to do what they wanted as part of the deal. That's what they wanted, just let us do what we want to do and help us. And so they allowed them to do that. And that's where you get Grounded and all these other crazy games, and a game like Sea of Thieves from Rare. People want Rare to make all these other games, but if they had continued just to make the games that they're good at, we wouldn't have Sea of Thieves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you look at those ideas. Go ahead. I don't want to.
No, I want to. No, Fuzzy. By the way, feel free to jump in on this. I know it hasn't gone yet, but I just want to kind of. I want to throw the dead body out there right now, just to be kind of like, okay, I know these are all great studios, and here I come dragging this one through the door. Hey, what about 343? It's just like, what about this guy over here? This guy has actually been around a lot longer than all of these other studio purchases. And obviously from, Phil Spencer's statements here of a couple days ago, obviously they're finally getting some of the kinks ironed out over there. But still, that's the one thing I want these studios to remain independent and stuff like that. I just don't basically whatever happened over at 343 supposedly. I just don't want it to happen there.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Also, guys, I think sorry to interrupt you, but
you're good.
I think right now we're in good hands with the direction they're going, and everything feels great. But the one thing you're always concerned about with these big corporations is, Phil's not going to be there forever, right?
That's the other part.
Yeah, whenever you make all these acquisitions, and it's like, great, hey, everything's going great. We love the direction we're going. But some clown like Don, no offense, Don, I don't know you, but some clown like Don could come on board, take control of the operations again, and just ruin everything. You know what I mean? So that's always the concern when you have things like this, is just because of the great situation we're in now. In the direction it's going doesn't mean that somebody else isn't going to screw it up later.
I am not thinking about that shit right now.
Dude, they're gonna have him sitting on a throne at E3. Phil Spencer's gonna wave his arm out, and here's my replacement. There's gonna be Donnie D sitting on the throne. Like, what's up?
The good news is Phil's been there his entire career, right? And there's no sign that he's leaving. So even if his role does change, hopefully he's still in some way over the gaming's aspect of Xbox.
Well, and I feel like it comes from the top down, though, the way Satya Nadella is running the entire corporation, like the way they're changing over to services, like they see the value in Xbox now and they're funding it. So I feel like a lot of those choices that were made back in 2013 had to do with trying to monetize more and being more overt with different avenues outside of gaming, where now they're seeing the value in gaming and the value in providing value to the customers. So I really feel like the overall mindset right now is great, and I don't think they're going to slow down on that anytime soon.
Yeah,
hope not.
I'd agree with that as well. Let's go ahead and get to Fuzz so we can wrap this thing up, man. Where you at, man, with this, man?
Well, I'm going to take my predictions in a kind of different direction, and I know I've said this before. Holiday 2022 will be the last holiday of physical media for consoles. I think we're going to go to digital only come 2023 holiday, or holiday 2023. And I know there's going to be a lot of people kicking and screaming, fighting against it, but it is what it is. I know that there were some people that were saying, oh, you can still buy physical media for PC. You can, if it's made before 2015. Otherwise, it has to be a small title, and it's usually a limited number of physical media. So you'll probably see the same thing eventually become the norm for console. If you really want a disc, yeah, you'll be able to find it, but it's going to be a lot more, I won't say necessarily pushed from either side, Sony or Microsoft, but I think we can all kind of accept it now that digital is kind of here to stay, especially considering that there's digital only consoles in both lineups. So expect that. If you don't want that to happen, continue buying discs. But I think the writing's kind of on the wall. Big prediction number 2. I was going to say, no Grand Theft Auto this gen, but I know I'd be lying if I said that.
Kick him out now.
I know, right?
No, it's not that I don't want Grand Theft Auto. It's just you lose 2 out of 3 big, like the forefathers of Rockstar, and one of them being the main writer for all the Grand Theft Auto games and both Red Deads. You're not going to have a Grand Theft Auto. I mean, yeah, they have plenty of talent, and I'm pretty sure they have a whole team of writers, but there's a reason why it's still not around, especially after those 2 people left. So whatever they're working on, don't expect it to be any better than GTA Online Part 2.
Well, they are going to sell us GTA 5 for the 3rd time.
Exactly. And that should tell you they kind of know they're having an issue. Now, a lot of people don't want to say, hey, Rockstar, they're great. They put out great content. They do. But they've kind of ignored the online for Red Dead Redemption. Not that there was as much demand compared to GTA, but you can't just lose a writer and expect stuff to still be okay. You can't lose one of the main team leaders and expect things to be okay. So,
Yeah.
Rockstar or Take-Two, their parent company, is acquiring Codemasters. So maybe we'll see a Midnight Club this gen. But
Yes.
I'm not holding my breath on Grand Theft Auto. There will be some other behemoth, and more than likely it'll be Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk will be our GTA 5 this gen, I guess. It'll be a cross-gen title, although it's seeming like the previous gen consoles are the problem. But yeah, I'll put it out there now. GTA 6, if it does come this gen, it's going to probably be the lowest scoring GTA in history, or lowest scoring Metacritic scoring Rockstar title ever.
Wow.
Bank on it. That's it. That's all I got for predictions.
And Fuzzy has spoken.
Rest in peace, Rockstar.
Well, no, I don't think they'll go completely into the toilet type of thing, but it's kind of frustrating. It's like, at least they should have teased something. It's like, oh yeah, buy another copy of GTA 5, but hey, here's a trailer of what to expect from GTA 6, or kind of like what they did where they showed like the map of like Los Santos, before we even really knew what was going on.
Yeah.
They should have at least done that by now.
The crazy thing about GTA 5 though is they revealed that game shortly before it was released. You remember there was only like a few months like leeway, I think, between the major reveal and we actually got that game.
Yeah,
because the original, I think they showed it in. Well, word was they started in 2010. They showed the first glimpse of it, I think, in late 2011, early 2012, and it was supposed to come out in 2012, and then they postponed it. But we only had like the video showing like the scenery. We didn't see the characters or anything like that. Now the big reveal, like you said, where we saw the characters, that was less than 6 months before it was released, type of thing. But that was already after it was kind of delayed for almost a year at that point. So,
yeah,
no GTA 6 still, no trailers, no nothing. Come on, I mean, yeah, I understand COVID, yeah, but what was it? Now we're on 7 years since they released the original GTA 5, and how most studios start working on the next title. Well, then again, they probably worked on Red Dead, but they usually start at least having the pre-story stuff or pre-build, in the works, or the starting of it, just before the other one goes gold or is launched. They at least have something in the works or something on paper. So it's 7 years and still no trailer.
I hope you're right about Midnight Club, man.
I hope so too.
All right, man. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and go last with my two predictions. I like that GTA one. That one's very, very interesting. That's very. I do think we'll get one. I like that GTA one. I do have another prediction as well. I think Starfield's going to be a full exclusive. I think it's going to be a full exclusive, and I think it's going to be a huge game. Now I know they came out and said that it's not going to be. We're not going to see it anytime soon. Who knows what the fuck Todd Howard is doing with the game? Who knows how far along the game actually is at this point? But I think it's going to be full exclusive. I don't think it's going to be on anything else but PC. Probably Game Pass day one, and it's going to be a massive game. I think they're trying to do something very special with that game. I think. I don't know. I don't know if I want to go that far. I don't know if I want to go that far, but I think.
Do it.
Oh man,
Everybody, make sure you clip this. Okay?
No. I just it could potentially supplant one of maybe the tent poles of Microsoft. If it does well, and it could be that, okay, this is next in line. This is what we're going to support going forward versus some other tent pole franchise. So who knows? But I think that's where we're going to go ahead and wrap things up, man. This has been a fucking phenomenal show. Once again, you guys in the chat are amazing, coming out, showing support every single week, showing out, showing love, man. Everybody that fucks with us, you guys are amazing. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. I do want to go ahead and go around the panel, man. Let everybody know how much I love these guys. Let's start with you, Mav. Once again, appreciate you jumping in here late, man. Last minute saving my ass. Thanks for making me look good once again. Another week, man. But let everybody know what's going on with you. You've been super busy. The podcast is popping off. Xbox Ultimate. Man, you're doing a lot. Things are growing pretty quickly since the last time we talked, man. Let us know what's going on.
Thanks, man. And yeah, anytime, just let me know. I'll make sure to make time for you, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah. So last night we had our first live episode of Xbox Ultimate Podcast, and I was joined by my wife. So that was very entertaining and fun. And you can hear her curse at me a lot in that podcast if you want to check it out. It's on my YouTube channel at Fun Speculation. You can find me on Twitter at Fun Speculation. On Tuesdays, you can see me with Four Guys with Quarters. I was invited to be a panel member there, so I was very excited about that.
Those guys, man.
Yes, they're awesome guys. And then also on Fridays, I'll be joining Mads Gaming with Next Gen Squad podcast. So yeah, it's been fun, man. I appreciate you guys having me, and see you guys soon.
Awesome, man. Shout out to you, brother. You always fucking hanging out. Appreciate you, man. You're amazing. Go check out his content, guys. Super. I told you it was going to happen, man. We talked about this after the first time we talked. You're going to get busy. Shit was going to pick up. But shout out to you, man. That's just goes to show you incredible, hard, good content, man. It shows itself. But appreciate you hanging out once again last minute. Next, we go ahead and throw this thing over to Game Pass Dad, another awesome, amazing individual I met fairly recently. Please go check his content out. Once again, I do want to say personally, thank you for showing love and, popping in late and kind of, once again, saving my ass and making me look good. So thank you, Game Pass. But let everybody know what's going on with you, brother, and what you got.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. Shoot. Oh, I thought I was muted. Sorry, looking at the wrong screen. Yeah, dude, I really appreciate you having me on. Podcast still going every Wednesday. Game Pass Dad. Everywhere you download audio podcasts. Still trying to keep up with like the YouTube thing, and then just really digging the live streaming. Monday, Wednesday, Friday nights. 9:30 Eastern time is when I start, and just having a lot of fun with it, and just growing on Twitter as well. So, thank you again for having me, guys.
Awesome, man. Once again, appreciate you hanging out here, jumping in late, man. Once again, go check out Game Pass Dad, everything he has going on over there as well. Appreciate you, man. Amazing gamer. Please, if you're a fan of mine, go check out both of those amazing gentlemen, Mav and Game Pass Dad, man. They're awesome dudes. So let's go ahead and throw this over to my compadres here. Centurion, what's going on, brother? How you been, man? Let everybody know where they can find you at, brother.
Well, PTK, I've been doing good. Thank you once again for letting me be part of this amazing show. It has been an awesome experience since day one, and it's been definitely over a year now. And so thank you for that. For those interested, you can definitely find me on Xbox Live, YouTube, and Twitter at Centurion1307. I kick it here every Saturday night on the Shop Podcast, and you can find me over on TXR every Sunday night as well.
Awesome, man. Once again, Centurion, thank you for hanging out with us, man, every single week. You add so much to the show, man. Once again, chat, you guys are fucking amazing. Hit the like button on your way out. Please comment on the video, man. I love going through comments, responding to people. Please comment on the video, man, on the way out. Let me know how you guys feel about the format, anything I can improve. I love constructive criticism, man. You love the show. You hate it either way. I appreciate your support either way. So last but not least, Fuzz, man. Smooth things out all the way, gentlemen. Everybody got their glass of cognac. You can go ahead and get this thing popping off. But yeah, Fuzz, go ahead, bro. How you doing, man?
Been pretty good, and haven't been much on Twitter because I'm busy playing on my consoles. But yeah, it awesome. Always talking games with you guys. You can always find me on Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere, PSN Fuzzy_Belvedere, or Xbox Live Fuzzy_Belvedere. Now playing on my Series X, pretty much anything that's next gen enhanced, like 2K21 or NBA 2K21. Just finished Cold War today, and we'll probably be hopping into Assassin's Creed. So
Destiny, we got to play some more, man. We got to finish.
Oh yeah. I got to get to, was it 1100 is the soft cap now, or is it more?
I think the soft cap is more, but we need to get to at least 11. Anyway, shout out to you, man, and also shout out to Stag, man, for hanging out with us in the comment section, trolling, being awesome, man. Shout out to you. Hope you feel better, brother. Last but not least, your boy PTK Blam across the board. Hit me up here every single Saturday. You guys are amazing. Follow me. All the information down in the description below. Once again, love you guys so much. Next week, same time, same place. Please appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We out of here. Peace out, everybody.
Take it easy.